Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here. Don't forget to subscribe. Today, let's talk about emergency alerts. Things like Amber Alerts. These are things that communities or even states need to know because, quite frankly, in case of an Amber Alert, the rescue of a child, pretty important, not to mention earthquake alerts and everything else. None of these types of alerts, that we're all getting them on our phone, should require any kind of login to actually see the alert or get the information that the alert has. And that's not necessarily happening on X right now. Now, here's what's going on, and Katie Nibbs from Wired had a pretty good write-up on this. And so let's dive in, because earlier this week, the California Highway Patrol sent an Amber Alert push notification to phones across the LA area about a 14-year-old girl that authorities believe had been abducted. But instead of conveying this information that could help locate this potential victim within the notification itself, the law enforcement agency linked a post from its official X account, and that's something that they've been doing for the last 6 years. So this is not out of the norm, but this time many people reported that they could not view the alert because basically they hit a screen on X that then prevents them from seeing any content on X until they sign into their account. Now, the California Highway Patrol, talking to Wired, said that it was aware of the issue. They reached out to X for more information and, quote unquote, we're looking into it, is what essentially Sergeant Dan Keene of the California Highway Patrol said. X did not respond. Now, Amber Alerts are issued by local law enforcement agencies to help locate children who are believed to have been abducted or at risk of dying or serious injury. In California, it's the Highway Patrol's Emergency Notification and Tactical Alert Center that essentially issues these alerts. The law enforcement agency, talking to Wired, said that it used X, aka Twitter, to push out these notifications since at least 2018, and they really haven't had any problems until this specific incident. Now, on other social media platforms, including Reddit, Threads, Blue Sky, etc., California residents started venting their frustration about being unable to receive essentially the details of an emergency that is happening in their community. And to quote one person on Reddit, this should be illegal and everybody should be upset about this. If that alert was for my child and tons of people couldn't see it because they don't have a stupid X account, I would be beyond infuriated. Another person wrote on Threads, why the F should a social media platform benefit from people wanting to be good citizens and informed about missing kids? Now, some users reported they didn't need to log in to see this post on X, which was sent via a URL creating Bitly, which obviously shortens URLs to make them easier to manage and send out. It's also unclear what percentage of people who received these notifications were able to view the information about this missing girl and what percentage hit that login gate. Overall, roughly about 21% of all US adults say that they have ever used X. That's according to Pew. And so not everybody has this installed on their phones. You get an Amber Alert and essentially you get a link. If you don't have the app, you're going to go to the website and then probably hit that wall. Now, I remember that essentially when Elon Musk bought this platform, he basically mandated, I want to say about a year ago or so, that essentially you wouldn't be able to see content on X unless you log in, kind of wanting to push people to essentially sign up for X, aka Twitter, and here we are. But here's the thing. I can understand that. I can understand also that this process for the California Highway Patrol probably has now fallen down as a result of that choice, but I'm also not really blaming X for this as well. What I'm saying here is I think there are many different types of users that we're going to have on any social media platform. And when you are looking at things like first responders, fire, ambulance, police, etc., if they are notifying communities, on, let's say, tactical situations or issues, emergencies, Amber Alerts, whatever that is, I think they should get a carve out. They should get a free pass. In other words, if they're on, I don't care if it's Twitter, X, or Blue Sky or Facebook or whatever it is, their accounts should be flagged and designated public regardless of what happens. And so, in other words, anybody, and I don't care if you're a user on Twitter or not, basically should be able to see, let's say, their local police department's Twitter account, if that's how the police department is essentially disseminating information. And to be fair, if you're saying, well, they can just blast it out in whichever way, sure. But most of us are on social media, and I promise you that if they're hitting out Amber Alerts that are linking to, let's say, Twitter, there's going to be others that might be linking to Facebook or something else. So I think this is something that quite frankly, and I'm not a big fan of regulation, probably needs some kind of regulation or standardization. In the same way that prior to 911, I believe it was the early 80s or late 70s, when 911 came around, you didn't know who to call if you didn't know your local police or fire department number. 911 essentially uniformed that. And so now anywhere in the United States where you're dialing 911 or let's say 999 in the UK, you're getting essentially local first responders for your emergency. It streamlines it, it saves lives. And I think this is one of those things where as we are looking at an emergency broadcast and alert system to the general public, sure, they're going to want to leverage social media, but then by all means, social media needs to basically be aligned with those emergency responders. So you might not be able to see my content on X if you're not an X member, and I only post my daily stuff everywhere. So if you're on Facebook, you're already seeing what I'm posting on X, et cetera, et cetera. But the point being here is that these need a pass. This probably needs to be some kind of mandate. I don't think it'll ever become a mandate, but these are the things that we should have mandates for, especially when it comes to emergencies. So heads up to you if you're in an area where, let's say, your local first responders are blasting out Amber Alerts or whatever it is, and they're using X, you may not be able to see it. And quite frankly, I think that's an issue that needs to be addressed because I promise you, if it's happening in LA, it's probably happening a lot of other places. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, where I don't think you need to sign up to see my stuff, but Twitter you do. YouTube, I don't think you need an account to see my stuff as well. And Blue Sky and Mastodon, where I'm at, I don't think you need it either. Just Twitter, I think, at this moment. But anyway, not blaming them, just want to get this streamlined. And please stay online. I don't even remember my preamble. Just be private. There we are. Have a good one.